Yes. Okay. Think we're good. Is it recording? Yeah. Okay. So we did 12 plus hours of training Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was very, very fortunate. Originally, I had planned on taking a personal day on Friday from school. I'm a high school English teacher, and I was going to take a personal day and stay home and do the training. Fortunately / unfortunately, since November 16th, I have been in quarantine. My daughter had COVID, my husband had COVID, and I had COVID, and today was my first day back, and so I'm just like, today. So you'll have to bear with me, I'm a little cray. So anyway, the training that was this weekend was phenomenal. There were lots of different Zoom rooms, okay? And each of the Zoom rooms could communicate and we could see each other in our Zoom meeting. We had about 300 in ours, and that's kind of how they divided it up. It was really, really incredible. Even though it was virtual, it's still Sylvester Stallone was there, y'all. I mean, it was like the coolest thing ever. So I'm going to just kind of dive into it, and I'm going to be just kind of following my notes. So that means that it can go here, there, and everywhere. All right. So I'm going to kind of group it by the people who spoke, and I'm going to try to keep it in that particular topic. All righty. All right, here we go. First thing first, there are 5 cornerstones in network marketing for network marketers. Okay, number 1 is leadership. Number 2 is social media. Number 3 is duplication. Number 4 is presentation. Number 5 is personal growth. And these are the 5 things that we focused on basically for the whole weekend. All right, we took all 5 of those areas and just crushed them. Okay. So one of the first people that we listened to was the one and only Fraser Brooks. And I know some of you, if you did the GoPro challenge, you know Fraser is, and he is phenomenal. He has the book, I Dare You. If you can get a copy of that, you definitely need to do that because he really is amazing. It's very, very worthwhile. He did say a lot of the stuff that he said from the GoPro challenge that we did, but he had some other things as well. I'm just going to kind of just go through what I said here. Okay, instead of action steps, he refers to them as dares, and that's where the dare came from. Talked to Ben, and we had this in our notes from last time, turning strangers into friends, friends into family. And then what he did was he drew, and I'm going to use my paper, he drew a circle, and he divided it up into 5 parts, okay? And for each part, he put a word at the line. So the first one that he did, and there were 5 different ones that he spoke about. The first one was content, comment, connect, communicate, and close. And it all has to do with your Facebook Lives. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that here in a minute. And he said, then that's just an organizational thing. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about content on Facebook Lives. We are always so worried about what other people think of us when we're on Facebook Live. I mean, how many people just don't like to go live? It's just they're uncomfortable. It's not their jam. And a lot of people won't even do network marketing or be with Limelight because they say, oh, I can't do it live. I can't do that thing. All right, so we're always so worried about how we look and how we sound. So he says, what will I talk about? And he gives us 3 suggestions. The 3 things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing lives, and these are so important. And I know a lot of these things that you're going to hear, you've heard before somewhere along the way, because I know I have. You've got to do something to get people onto your live. The first thing that you need to focus on is your title. That is the single most important thing about your live is the title. If you're not putting a title, then no one is going to stop and watch your live. Okay, so you need to have a really, really good title, and it needs to be something that's going to hook them to come in. Don't just put Makeup Live with Angie or something like that. Let's see. This morning, I had a big mistake last night. I tinkled my face with a razor, not a razor, but blade, a surgical knife. Yeah, we won't talk about that. But anyway, I tinkled my face last night, but I did not prepare my face. I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna do it dry. Don't do that ever, ever. It was like dry shaving, okay? And so my face was on fire. I went to bed looking like a tomato last night. So when I got up this morning, I thought it was gone. I thought it was fine until I got in the shower and put water on it. No, it was bad. So I got on live immediately, and my title said, don't do the same mistake I did. I had more people on my live this morning than I usually ever have on like a 5:30 a.m. live. So something that's going to get their attention. Okay, so you've got to get people on. That's the first thing. Then you want to keep them on. That is going to come back to your delivery. You want to keep them there. You need to have high energy. And we hear this all the time. No one's going to want to come to a live. And if you're doing this, a couple different things. Number one, if you're doing this, hi, my name is Angie. And don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. You need to have high energy. You need to look at the camera. That's extremely important. You want them to be there. Fraser said that he likes, before he gets on, the first thing he does is he claps his hands 10 times as fast as he can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then just fires him up. If any of you guys watch Courtney Line, you know she does something very similar. Whenever she starts her live, she's like, ah! She just kind of goes out. And it's awesome. So you've got to do something to keep the people on. And then finally, you want to get them to come back. The only way you're going to do that is, all the people in the house, consistency. You know that, right? Okay, make sure you're consistent. Another thing too is make sure your vision is clear and BU times 2. Okay, BU times 2. Okay, that was for the content part. Comment. All right, so we know how important it is to go follow in interest groups, right? We've got to follow those interest groups. So important that we follow them. Write them down, which ones you want to go to. And that's where I usually start my list. And I tell my team, write down things that you enjoy. I love to hand letter. I'm a high school English teacher. I'm a grammar snob. I'm a dance coach. And I have a mental health suicide prevention foundation. These are my things that are extremely important to me. So I have interest groups. So what he's recommending is that you do the 5 by 5 by 5 plan, find 5 interest groups and join them. Okay. And be picky when you're choosing those groups, because guys, there are so many groups that are out there. Be picky, be selective. Make sure that there's a big, I always look to see if there's a lot of people in that group. I want there to be a lot of people, and you need to be active in those groups. Don't just join the group and sit back on the sidelines and be a spectator. You need to be in there and commenting. So that's another part of that. So after you join your 5 interest groups, in each 5 of the 5, each one of those, you need to find 5 posts within each of those groups. Okay, so that's 25 total. And you're going to comment on all of them, all 25, with 5 words or more in your comment. Okay, so 5 by 5 by 5, 5 interest groups. Find 5 posts, or if you don't find 5 posts, make a post yourself, and then comment on respond to every single comment on your post. All right, so if I'm on a hand lettering one and I get on there and I show them a pretty thing like, oh, I did this, and do you have any recommendations for me, or blah, 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 and then they get on there and start commenting, reply, answer every one of them. Don't just post something and walk away. You need 15 minutes after you make a post. You need to be on that post, watching for comments, because if you do it like you make a post and then you come back to it an hour later, the people are going to be like, so-and-so commented on my responded. They're not even remember what it was about. So you need to be quick, okay? And that's also going to push that out there and bump your post so other people see it. Okay. The next one is comment or connect. Connect, connect, connect. And he loves acronyms. All right, so this acronym is FAM, F-A-M. F is find. Find a post or make a post in the group and comment on the post or reply to every single comment. Now this can also be, you know, even on anywhere in your newsfeed also, okay? Now, when you're in your group, after you have been in there for a while and you've kind of met some people, you know, you've watched some of the followers who are really more active, add them. Add the active people that are in your group. So that's the A. And then the M, message them. Now, don't be quirky and don't be a Pamela Anderson like he said. Do the, hey, Angie, I see that you have a Morkie. I love Morkies. Did you, where did you get your Morkie? Or tell me a little bit, I want to get a Morkie. Tell me a little bit about that breed. Anything that can just sound like you're just trying to just strike up a conversation. And even whenever you message them, don't just be like, hey, Michelle, I see you have a Christmas tree. I like Christmas trees. Because if somebody sent me a message like that, I'd be like, block. Be genuine. Say, hey, I'm new to this group. Thanks. My first time commenting, or it's my first week in this group, just kind of getting to learn a little bit about everybody. And I saw that you had whatever it is. Okay, just don't be weird about it. And so that's for the fam. Okay, so that's all under connect. Communicate. The acronym for communicate is Lord. Okay, now when you're communicating with these people and you're reaching out to them, he gave the acronym of Lord being, and the L being location, the O occupation, the R recreation, and D dreams. So after you've kind of established a relationship with these people and you're continuing to communicate with them, that's kind of where you go. So the L is location. And this is basically a conversation, what do we call it? Text. Yeah, you can basically just take this little, words are hard today. Text, what's the word I'm looking for? Help my sister out. Text replacement, kind of, yeah. So basically it's just gonna be kind of like a little formula. So you're gonna state where you're from. Hi, my name is Angie and I'm from Brookfield, Missouri. And then the O is occupation. I'm a Lime Life by Alcone beauty guide. And the next one is R, and that's recreation. That's what you do for fun. What do you do for recreation? What do you do for fun? And then the D is dreams. And this is where you're going to kind of start getting into the conversation about what are your dreams for 2021? And you can kind of play around with that so it doesn't sound too spammy. But that's the acronym that it gave us, Lord. Location, occupation, recreation, dreams. So, and that's going to be something that you want to do after you've kind of dated him for a little bit and you've kind of been chatting with them a little bit. Don't just come right out there and be like, hi, my name is Angie. I'm a Lime Life by Alcone beauty guide and I like to hand letter and I am going to build a team of blah, 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 you know, because that can be a little weird. And then the close. In the close, you'll want to ask them questions and let them answer and let them ask you questions. So just be there for the questions. And that's all I wrote down for questions. Is anybody in this group right now? I can only see a few people. I don't know why I can't see the whole grid. Maybe it's because it's my computer. Maybe full screen will let me, because I only just see a few people on here. Maybe there are only a few people on here. There's 14 people. Okay, I don't know why I can't see everybody. But if you were part of the GoPro this weekend, was anybody in here in the GoPro this weekend?
This is Allison Schramm. I was there.
I thought you were, Allison. Were you in 204?
No.
I know, because you were on our group with Gary and Christine. that was so awesome too, guys. I failed to mention that. So we had a messenger group, and it was all of the Lime Life beauty guides that were in the GoPro for the weekend. And Gary, Dawn, and Christine were all in there with us. And that was super cool, super cool. And so was Kat. Kat was very, very chatty. Gary came on, and then Christine and Dawn, they were kind of here and there. I think I've left the group because it did get very chatty, and it was just a whole lot of not helping my business. So I did remove myself from that group, but I am following everybody like on Facebook, and we have a little Facebook group, but it was just too much in the chat to keep up with. I don't know, Allison, if you stayed there, did you remove yourself?
No, I stutter as I say it. I'm like, no. I didn't, but I wanted to, but I hung in there, and I mean,
Well,
yeah.
They're still in there. They're just,
Oh, I did bail. I had to get out of that.
Okay.
I did get out after the third day, like
Okay, yeah.
Monday, I think.
Yeah.
They were still talking.
Yeah. I'm out. So I'm out now, but I stayed in the whole weekend just to see if there was any value. And I loved, Gary got on and did a live or a video for us, and it was very, very helpful. Christine was talking a little bit about the fact that we're going to have a lot of systems in place for next year, and it was very valuable. So it was nice having them there, but I'm kind of over it now. It's just too much. Too much for me. We got all of our other stuff going on. Okay, so after the close, we're going to go into okay, so you might want to help me up on this, Allison, because I didn't get anybody to respond. But one of the really super cool things that Fraser said was, we're not in the, and I'm going to plug in, we're not in the skincare and makeup industry. We're in the ship industry. And he used the word ship, and he talked about relation, and he tied it all together. And I was doing something, and I didn't have a pen and a paper where I was doing it. And I was like, oh, come on, Angie, you've got to remember this. And I did remember.
Yes.
I had this one big long sentence like, we're in the relationship business to build leadership and it all tied in together, and it was just phenomenal. So I'm hoping that I can find somebody that wrote that down somewhere, or when they're watching the replay, they will tell me what that was, because that was like one of my favorite things ever, because I'm a language person and I just love that.
Yes, I think that it was an attention getter for him to say, we're in the shipping industry.
Yeah, shipping industry. Yeah, we're in the shipping industry. And then it's like, shipping, yeah, we are in the shipping industry, and they talk about relationship. And then, there are so many different ship words that you can think of to put in there. And then the last acronym that he put in there was LITT, L-I-T-T. And I just had this written on the side of my notes, but the L stands for learn it. The first I stands for implement it. The second I stands for teach it to yourself. And then the T is teach it to others. So this is going to go back into learning about your company and learning everything that there is to know about your company, or about leadership or self-development, that kind of thing. Some other takeaways that I had from that page: do less thinking and more doing. Leadership drives everything, and I am a leader. You have to lead yourself and be your best boss so that you can lead your team. Okay? When you are leading your team, you need to make sure that you are an example and that you do it too. That's what I love about Glam Warriors. You've got Courtney in there, and she'll do the challenge too. Michaela will do the challenge too. Dana does the challenge too. Whatever it is, they're doing it with us. Of course, the big C word, consistency, you're going to see that all the time. And then also giving your team assignments so that they can learn. Okay. The next one, all great leaders have 5 attributes. You're independent. When we joined Lime Life, we were so dependent on our upline. I'm so sorry, Michelle. I know that I probably messaged you a lot during the beginning, and even Courtney and everyone. So yes, you want to move from dependent to independent quickly. That's going to be the sign of a good leader. Set a date for yourself and tell your new people as they come on, when do you want to be independent from me? Choose a date. Write that date down and see how you're progressing towards that date. A great leader is going to be an excellent problem solver. Try to solve the problem yourself first. And I kind of added this bit in, and I gave an example for that. So you need a photo of a product that's getting ready to be on sale, and you want to post it. Think to yourself, where can I go get a photo of Dream Clean? And then do that. Go someplace and find it yourself. After you've exhausted all of your resources, which you won't, you'll be able to find it quickly. Then go back and ask someone. But here's the deal. I put it in the notes. Where do I go find a picture of this product that I need? The answer to that is the Glam Warriors photo albums, the Lime Life Runners photo albums, and all of the other ones. We've got Light Force Life Changers. We've got them, you guys know, we've got a gazillion groups, so go find them. If you are an organized person and you have them in your phone, I highly recommend doing that too. Categorize them, put them into folders. Don't just put skincare and makeup, because I've done that before, because when I want makeup and I need a lip color, I'm going through all of them and it's insane. So just make sure that you know where you can go quickly to do it. One thing that I've started doing that I really like is I'm trying to get it to where I don't have so much in just my regular photos on my phone. So what I've done, and this is just a tip from me for anybody that's kind of new and you might not be able to see this. So I take in my, I'm going to tip it so you guys, it's not reflecting on here, but anything that's Lime Life, I do LL and it's bolded, and then I do a hyphen, and then I put whatever it is. So for example, this one is end of year checkpoint. So this is some great information for the end of the year checkpoint as you're getting ready to go into a new year. I'll click on that, and then it's got that one little ladder thing on there that Michelle, I don't know, somebody had along the way. Absolutely love that one because it said the importance of smaller steps. I just love that graphic. And then I'll put that in there. Another one too is like the personality quiz. I've got that one there. And by the way, were referring to a personality quiz all weekend, and it never did quite match up with. I mean, it did a little bit with the quiz that we do in our group, but they suggested doing the Tony Robbins, which is the disc, and so I have now added that to mine, and it is so comprehensive and it's so detailed. So and I have that link. If anybody wants it sometime, you can. And I just did a Google search, but it is a really, really good comprehensive personality test. I mean, it is, I think they wrote it for me because it literally describes me to a T. It was kind of crazy. I wasn't a big fan of the other one that we were taking, the Jacob Adamo, maybe personality quiz, because I felt like I was a rainbow of colors. But when I did the Tony Robbins, it was black and white. I mean, it was right spot on. So another thing that I do, that was just on the personality because I had that folder. Like, for example, here's my Midnight Oil. If you click on there, I've got all my word tracks for Midnight Oil. Any graphics, I turn them into small ones, and then I can click on those and pull them out quickly. That is just a great way, something that you're going to be able to do to solve your problem quickly. It's to be like, okay, I'm going to go over here to my notes and then do a search at the top for Midnight Oil. Boom, pick it up, pull it, copy, paste it. You're done. Super easy. The next one is consistent. You guys know it. You've got to be consistent. Consistency is key. If you're not going live every single day, or if you're not interacting with your people every single day, you're not being consistent. It's the way it is. Okay. If you have not gotten past your fear, and have done a live yet, I'm going to recommend that next year you put that at the top of your priorities, that you go live. Do it messy. Nobody wants to see a perfect person get on there and it be all perfect. They don't want to see that. at all. They can see that in the movies or whatever. Let them see the messy. People have seen me crying because I was having a bad mental health day because my son died. And I let them in on that. I let them cry with me. I get on there and I say, this is my life. Come with me. Come with me and learn a little bit about me. Have a big vision. I changed my goal for next year and I just informed Michelle of that goal today. I was shooting for one level and then I upped it a couple of different levels. I didn't think I was, I didn't think or feel like I was making it big enough. Make it big enough to where you're scared, like it's uncomfortable. And that's one of the things that Eric Worre says. Okay, in 365 days, and ask your guys this question yourself. In 365 days, what would you like? And I'm gonna talk about the money for a minute. I am. So in 365 days, what would you like to be bringing in a month from Lime Life? Put it in the chat. I want everybody to do that right now. Put it in the chat. I'm gonna tell you what mine was. There's mine. That's a scary number for me. It's hard for me to type that number because it's like, my God, I will never be able to make that as a teacher. I will never make more than $60,000 a year as a high school English teacher with a master's degree after I teach for 30 years, which is going to be in 4 years. That's insane. I wrote down, I wanted to make $10,000 a month. So be uncomfortable with that number. Now take that number and double it. What? 20,000? No freaking way. Now double it. And that's going to be your goal for 365 days. Now write that number down. Write that number down on your piece of paper. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I can. I'm not gonna. Do it. Do it scared. Write it down. You got to think big. You got to think big. You just do. And a good leader is going to create action. You have to create action. You just have to. Okay, so we talked about leading yourself so you can be your best boss. We talked about leading your team. The next one, you've got to be able to identify potential leaders. You've got to be able to identify potential leaders. And there are 3 things that they have to be, and you have to keep coming back to this. And these 3 words, you need to write them down. You need to put them on a note card, write them in lipstick on your mirror. They have to be willing. They have to be coachable, and they have to be hungry. They have to be willing. They have to be coachable, and they have to be hungry, and they have to be all 3. And here's the part that I struggle with: the willing. We sometimes see the potential in our team that they don't see in themselves, and you can't make them want it. And that's tough. That's tough. My niece is one of them. She's on my team. She hasn't sold a dime yet. Not one dime. And she had all these plans in the beginning, and I've tried everything. But I've given up because, you know what? Here's the deal. I can't make her want it. Yes, it would change her life completely. And she has everything that it takes. Or does she? You know, I don't know. Okay? So they have to be willing, coachable, and hungry. And then you have to have the mindset of mentoring people into leadership. I can tell you, yes, I am a leader. I'm a teacher, so I come by it naturally. And I do a lot of leadership training. I lead leadership trainings. I get that. But you have to be able to mentor your people into leadership. Now, some of you, Jess, you're doing like a phenomenal job. You are like such a rock star leader. You're doing such a great job of that. And you're just taking the bull by the horns and going with that. And that is, I mean, that's what you just have to do. And you can't just say, well, my upline's not really doing a very good job of giving me what I need to become a leader. That's not a leader. Then you're not a leader then. Sorry. No, a good leader is going to do it. A good leader is going to build the plane while they're flying it. That's my middle name. I just jump in. I'll figure it out. Okay, that's what we do. So you have to be able to mentor people into leadership. And here's a goal. Girls, as soon as you sign a girl onto your team, you need to make the first goal for them is to get them to lead Beauty Guide. That's the first thing that you need to be thinking. I've got to get this girl to lead. I've got to get her to lead. And you got to work together to establish a plan to get her to lead. And the reason why, it's not for you. It's not for you for the money and everything. It's so that they can see the potential that they have in being a leader. That's when the magic starts to kind of happen. And that's when you kind of start to see the numbers. And it's like, oh, well, that wasn't so hard. Just like whenever I got my first paycheck and I thought the company made a mistake, and I called Michelle and I said, there's a mistake. They said they gave me $200 and I didn't do anything, Michelle. It's not mine. And she's like, you get a paycheck every month. And I'm like, but I'm not doing this for the business. I'm just doing this for the discount. Of course, clueless. That was a little bit of fire. And that's all it took. There was no looking back. There was no more discount. It was like, all right, $200. I can do that. And I did. Next. So you want to mentor your people into leadership. The next one is you've got to duplicate it. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Put it in all caps. You have to think to yourself, what are your strategies to develop yourself as a leader so that you can develop yourself as a team? And I will tell you this, that there's going to be, and we do a really, really good job at Lime Life with this kind of stuff, guys. We really, really do. We have assignments, we have challenges, and we will have these like little monthly maps that come out, like a content map. Another thing too is if you create a map yourself, MAP, my action plan, what are you going to do for the month? In my planner, I not type out, but I'm an old school, maybe paper pencil. I like the paper calendar. So at the beginning of each month, I haven't written in January yet, but at the beginning of each month, I put what's my PRV, what's my TGRV, how many recruits am I going to do? I love putting it in here. I'm also on the Brighter Together Foundation group for Missouri in Kansas City. And so we have these great binders that are really, really good about organizing your goals, and it all goes down from wellness to self-care to financial empowerment, all kinds of the core pieces that are of the Brighter Together Foundation. This is a really good one too. It doesn't have the calendar in it that I want, so, but keeping that close by too to kind of guide me. And the next one here, this is from the movie Balboa, and this was from Sylvester Stallone. I want to inspire people to think bigger versus feeling smaller from my success. I want to inspire people to think bigger versus feeling smaller from my success. So instead of looking at someone, guys, I was full of that when I first started. Oh, Emily Littrell is so beautiful. And she's in the same town as me. I can never do eyeshadow like Emily. She's just so beautiful and everything, this and that. Stop. You can't do that. Let people inspire you to think bigger. So I was inspired by her. And everything she was doing, I was, getting ideas from her. And that's the beautiful part of Lime Life, is the collaboration and learning from each other. Next, constantly immerse yourself in your business. Constantly. My family will tell you that I'm addicted to my phone. Well, you guys know. I mean, I'm not on my phone playing games. I'm not on my phone scrolling through Facebook and just checking everything out. I just don't do that anymore. I don't do it. I mean, now occasionally when I'm just brain dead, like after this weekend, occasionally I'll do a scroll through TikTok. I mean, come on. You got to do that. I mean, it's just eye-opening. And how you can get your dinner plans for the rest of the week by following TikTok. It's amazing. And we'll talk about TikTok later too. But anyway, so constantly, you've got to constantly be immersing yourself in your business, constantly building your network, constantly thinking about it. It's got to be in your mind. If it's not, then you need to think about your future plan with Lime Life. What do you want to do? Okay. And of course, families first. We all know that, right? We all know that. And you know what I mean by constantly. I mean, there's a happy medium. You've got to create that. You've got to know what that is. Write a business plan for 2021. I don't even know how to write a business plan, but I'm going to figure it out. Get rid of this thought. Why does this work for why doesn't this work for people like me? Julie, are you in the house? Julie, are you in? Remember whenever you had that self-doubt? You would say, why doesn't it work for me? When you said, I do all the things. And then, boom, you were like fire, right?
Girl, that's still me, but thank you.
But still. Okay, so here's this. It says, and I did this because I love the quote so much that I wrote it out. It would work if you work. Now, I'm not saying that to you necessarily that you're not working. Please don't think that. But you know what? When you've got people that are on your team that aren't doing much, and they're like, it just doesn't work for people like me. You know more people than me, and you've got a bigger network than me. It doesn't matter. It would work if you would work. There's no reason why it can't work. We have 3-star beauty guides in Brookville, Missouri, population of 4,000. Don't tell me you can't do it. Just don't do it. And next, and then it's on a kind of a tie on to that, when we say, why doesn't this work for people like me? Well, you don't work for people like you. I love that. You don't work for people like you. It would work if you work. Be honest with yourself. Now, if you don't enroll in yourself first, you're never going to be able to enroll anyone else. And by enroll, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are signing somebody up. You've got to work on you first, and we know that. You can still sell and make it authentic if you make it about serving others. I love that. You have to have a servant heart in here. You cannot make it like you are selling something, because the makeup and skincare should be an afterthought. Because what we're doing, we're in the ship business. We're in the ship building business. We're building relationships. We're building the trust. We're getting to know people. We're making friends. We're reaching out to old friends. We're in the ship business. Guys, the sales will come. The sales will come. You've got to focus on serving your people. I'm not selling to you. I am serving you. That's why we always say you're solving one of their problems. You're solving a skincare problem, a makeup problem. The next one, 2020 was not a good year for many people, but there is only one option in 2021. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. The next person, I'm zooming right through this too, guys. I'm sorry, but I know it's taken forever, but it was an amazing weekend. Shailene Johnson. If you're familiar with Shailene Johnson, incredible, incredible, incredible woman. And these names, I had this in my notes. If you click on there, you will be able to follow her as well, or go there and get these names and everything so that you can follow these people, because you'll see their names written down in my notes, okay? I'm going to look over here too that I just saw. Remember Michelle said earlier, big goal, take small steps. There you go. As humans, once we see results, we get addicted. Develop the, if she can, why can't I? Exactly. Absolutely. And then Allison, absolutely. I want Allison to share with us as well. But Shailene talked a lot about Instagram. She is like the Instagram queen. I am not real skilled in Instagram, and I learned so much from listening to her. So I'm going to just kind of go through my notes here. And Allison, if you have, is Allison still on here? I can't see everybody's faces. I don't know why. There she is. Allison, if you want to unmute yourself and pipe in, just say Angie, and then say something as I'm going through, because I know you've got valuable stuff in here too, because your chat in our group, you just had the greatest things to say. So please, please, please pipe in if you want to add anything to this that I missed. Because this is why I put out a message today. If anybody has any extra notes, I'm doing a Zoom tonight, because sometimes we see other people's notes and we can fill in the holes. So fill in my holes, Allison. Shailene Johnson, first topic was curated content. Let's see, you do have to show up every day, but it doesn't have to be you. You do have to show up every single day, but it doesn't have to be you. Here's a game changer right here. Are you familiar with the app Repost? No. Repost, and if you think of Repost Plus, okay, this is going to save you, all of you working people like myself, this is going to save you so much time. And this is in my notes too, Christine. I know that you've got babies there in yours. They're sleeping. This is all in my notes, sister, so don't worry about it. It's called Repost Plus. And it is an app where if you see something, for example, Kelsey Little had a really neat quote on there that I loved last night. You go to the 3 little dots, you click on those 3 little dots and you copy a link to her post. And then you go open up the app, the Repost app. And because you've already copied it, it's automatically going to paste it into the app. So you just open the app and then you have some options. You can schedule when you want to repost it. You can put her name on it, on the picture that you're sharing. And then you can give the option of whether you want the original text with it. And then you can add your own hashtags to it. I tried it last night. I still have a little work to do with it, because you can have all these different kinds of categories of hashtags. And we're going to talk about that too. But you can have categories of hashtags. So guess what, guys? You're not a content creator. That's okay. You can borrow content and just, give credit to the creator. And all you have to do is copy it and go over. Super cool, super quick. And it's a great thing to do. You can use it with Instagram, and I don't think you can use it with Facebook. Another thing too that I have a hard time wrapping my head around is you don't want to always take. You want to trade. Give and get. I'll just put this out there. I love creating content. I do. I give it away freely because I just love making content. It's my therapy. So I'm going to continue to do that. But sometimes it's nice to, they say on here, if you are approaching a team member that says, hey, do you have a such and such that I could use? I'll give you my such and such as well. Just like whenever I went to my group of GoPro people, I said, hey, can I get your notes from the weekend? I will share my notes with you that I got, and then we can fill in the holes to make sure we got everything. So that's just a good thing to do. Just so you're, again, collaborating, because you're trying to move from dependence to independence. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk free? Your team members are not going to grow their own wings and fly if you're always doing everything for them. Okay? Content is what attracts your ideal customer. Another thing with content, you're trying to solve a problem. Using systems is key. It is imperative that you create systems that work. And again, Gary and Christine said that they are working on improving our systems in 2021 so that we are all consistent in how we do all the things from onboarding, all of it. And they said that there's going to be a lot coming. Christine she actually sent a post or something into our little group. Do you remember what that was, Allison, that she shared with us?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay. Anyway, she did say that she was that they're working on something, and she posted something in there, but it would be like probably 3 billion posts back, so I'll have a hard time finding that. But guys, we already have a lot of great systems that are already in place at Lime Life that we already do. Thanks to Courtney, we've got the introduction letter that we do. We have now the Facebook page where we get the training. We even have the pre-training with Jess that she created there. I mean, we've got a lot of systems that are really, really good. So if anybody would ever think that it would be too hard to be on our team, guys, we don't have to really do a whole lot because so much of it's already done for us. And I didn't realize that until this weekend, how fantastic it really, really is. Because we have an amazing company that they do a lot of stuff for us. Okay, moving on. Systems. We have, and also the introduction letter, but we also have the units in Glam Warriors, in the Lime Life Runners, in all the different places. On Instagram, we used to think that swiping up was like the thing to do, right? You swipe up and you would go to their page. That's no longer the thing. Swiping up is not a good thing. You need to create polls, which we do. We do that in Facebook. We do that also in our Instagram, but it's extremely important because it's going to create that connect with your customer. If they swipe up and go to your website, you have no idea if they even did it. Right? So whenever you are doing the polls, you have something that directly connects them to that, and you'll be able to follow up with them. Understanding the algorithm on Instagram, because there definitely is an algorithm. Always think about the engagement posts, your likes, your comments, your saves, and your shares. And we know shares are the most important one. An idea would be to ask your network to share your content by saying, hey guys, how can others learn from me if they don't follow me? So you can help me by sharing this post so other people can be learning, especially when you're giving something of great value. Maybe it's something on nutrition, or it's your exercise, or maybe it's something on mental health. So you know what, there's probably a lot of other people out there struggling. How can your friends know if I'm here unless you share? So you would be doing me a huge favor by sharing, and that's going to push it out there. So what do we share? We share screenshots. We want to share things that you would send to your BFF in a text message. Maybe not everything, but like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. You should see this video. Or my friend Beth sent us a video today of a woman in the driveway. It was hilarious. You want to make that connection with your network to where you're sharing stuff like that, because you don't want it to all be Lime Life. It can't be all Lime Life. You've got to throw some other stuff in there too. What else here? And also value. You've got to provide value in your posts. They need to be entertaining, educational, motivational, humorous, or insightful. You've got to make sure it follows that balance. And yes, make sure that you've got a balance of, you don't want to have them all be, you know, something about mental health, for example. That's all I can think of right now. So if I'm having a day and I put a quote out there about you know, a bereaved parent, I'm not going to continue to post those about bereaved parents, because although I may be feeling it, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and get people sad all the time. So you got to think about that as well. Here's some statistics for you. The average Instagram user follows over 250 accounts. Okay, so think about that. The average Instagram user follows over 250 accounts. The average Instagram user views less than 3% of those accounts. That's not very many. 93% of users say that they waste too much time on social media, so they will likely not follow or engage with boring content. Yeah. So what is boring content? This is where the game changed for me. And I can't believe she said this, because this, in my idea of branding, I had in my head, I need to choose a palette of colors, and I need all my things to match and have it all be pretty and organized. That makes me very happy. She said that is so boring. Nobody's going to want to see the same background on every single quote that you're putting out there. She called me out. She called me out. Because I have spent so much time creating content, creating like all of my inspirational quotes on Canva with all my colors, and all I changed was the quote. Nobody's going to know that you have anything different posted if you're posting the same colors all the time. When you open up an Instagram account, and mine is actually what I would consider messy, but because I hadn't really gotten into that whole branding thing yet, because I was still trying to learn about it before I attempted it. So when you open up your Instagram, you can kind of see mine. There is no rhyme or reason. It's very colorful. All right. So yes, some people would like to see, oh, you need to have all your quotes be in a certain color in this. No. And you don't want to have it to where you're always looking prim and proper and pretty. Don't do that. Here's one of me that I did with no eyebrows. Yeah, you want to have weird things on there like that. And anything with a cat is going to get a gazillion likes, just so you know. So you got to get yourself a cat. Like for real, this particular reel that I did has like 2,000 views on it. It is my cat patting a drip of water in my bathtub. What the heck? Silly. So when you're branding, use the same three colors on every post is boring. Be messy. Your audience needs to see that you are being imperfect. If they see that you're just posting all different kinds of things, they could be like, oh yeah, I could do that. But if they see that you have these beautiful Canva created things that all look the same, they're not going to like it. It's going to be boring to them. So I'm having to pivot now. And think to yourself, what do people find valuable? And here's another thing too. Value matters. Aesthetics doesn't. Value matters. Aesthetics doesn't. But I like the aesthetics, so I'm going to continue to do that a little bit. Now, I put on my notes, I sort of disagree with that, because in your post that you're creating, you do want to make sure that you have clear pictures. They're not fuzzy. They don't have a stock photo, watermark over it. They don't have a whole bunch of white space around it. And for the love of all things holy, please make sure the grammar's correct. If you're not sure, message me, please. I'm a grammar snob, especially those tricky words like your. Just holla, your girl got your back. Okay, also, here's another one, guys. I'm about to blow your mind. Don't use a hashtag with the name of your company or a product. What? Now, granted, this is just one person's opinion, but this woman's making millions of dollars too. Keep some level of mystery. Keep a little bit of mystery. If they're coming to your Instagram to view you, keep a little bit of mystery, like, girl, she's doing that with that lipstick. What company is that? Or where'd she get that lipstick? Don't put it up in your bio. I've got some editing to do because it's in my bio. I need to edit. Let them come to you and say, where'd you get that lippy? What'd you do? How'd you do that to your face? Let them come to you. Make them want to message you. Moving on to the next person, guys. I'm gonna try to zip through this. I know it's super long, but it's such a good stuff. Before I only have a little bit left. Allison, did you have anything to add to that on Instagram with Shailene?
No, thank you for asking.
Okay, perfect. I think I understood that. I would add to this. What are you attracted to? You're trying to find the other yous of the world. That's exactly right. Yep.
And I feel like we need a part 2 to this. There's so much meaty content. Like there's so much. I also want to add to you guys, don't, sometimes we hear one person's opinion and we think that everything that we're doing is completely wrong. So I don't want you to take that and assume that like, you need to completely abort the mission. And I don't want that to sound bad because they are professionals, but a lot of times, sometimes, at least for me, that will put me in paralysis, like action paralysis. Like one person's telling me, oh my gosh, I shouldn't hashtag Lime Life Biocone. Yeah, exactly, Jess. Like take what applies to you and your business and leave what doesn't. And I know like Angie has so much information, you guys. Take what applies, take what, grab the bits and pieces that you can apply today. And really make those effective, and then let the rest be what it is to pick back up at another time. I think especially when we're training and there's a lot of, because this is 3 days worth of content that she's trying to teach us in 60 minutes. Like that is meaty, like that is a lot. So don't think that you have to implement all of this all at once. It will not work like that. And Allison, I know that you and I vibe the same way. Like that's a lot. Like you have to take what you can apply in your business, and you have to take what works for you and leave what doesn't.
Yep. And that's perfectly fine. And I go back to that whole, and this is one of the things that Eric did say, just take the smaller pieces. I think he said something about the frog and like bite by bite, just take it in little bites. I can't remember what that quote, I have it written down somewhere. But yeah, just take little bits at a time. It really didn't all come together until I typed this out tonight, because this was all handwritten. And I typed out all of my notes, and it finally kind of started to register in my brain. And I'm a visual person, so having these now in front of me will help. So hopefully that will help one of you guys. Did you guys notice all of a sudden I had this like bug bite or something show up on my eye? I'm obsessed with that.
Quit picking at it. Allison, do you want to pick back on anything before we move on, or if we need to do a part 2? I want to make sure that you get in, because you're on the East Coast, so I know it's getting later for you, ma'am. So you just holler if there's anything that you want to say right now too. I want to make sure.
Okay.
It's a lot of information, but I want to give you time.
I want to tell Angie that I admire her for all of the work and the energy and the enthusiasm that she has put into tonight's presentation, when you say she's trying to take 3 days, it really is more like 6 days, because we had 12.5 hours each day, and it was excessive for me. It was just way too much. And she asked, Angie said, did you bail out of the chat? And I said, no, I hung in there. So and I want to say something just to stand in my truth. Okay, this is going to wake the group up, I think, a little bit if anybody was getting tired. I absolutely hated almost everything about it. Like, I would not do this again. This is just me. Now, I must absolutely say that I did take away some nuggets that Angie has touched on tonight. I also will say that there has been a shift in my energy. I have put on my teacher hat. I am a blue-red personality, and this type of training is just intense. It was painful. I earned this ticket. I did not pay to do this, and I would never volunteer for this again. Now, let me say this, only because, as Angie said, Michelle Gay, today, the 45-minute training, or was that yesterday? I don't know, that she did this, that was worth so much more. That was so valuable to me. And the systems that Angie referred to that we have in place at Lime Life, totally, like, we have all of our needs met. This is a pure business. It's very simple. I understand that we all need to access and use social media. But this is a group of people who are on a circuit together. They are a team. All of the speakers have content that they bring, and a lot of the podcasts are available from those speakers, and the information is out there for free. So I just want, the yin and the yang of this for me is that everything Angie has said, valuable, good stuff. I agree. For me to sit there for 12.5 hours, 3 days, I don't have any ink. I don't have any tattoos, but I need something that might have a 4-letter word in it. Like, I don't know, because I just really feel like I earned some sort of special rank, just by being there. But in the future, this is not for me. It's just not. But I will do everything that Lime Life tells me to do, and I will follow that path. But it's just, and with Christina saying that we have more systems coming, I feel like we need to be congruent. And it concerns me that we have people paying for training, and one of the prices was $10,000, and some of the women were paying for that, for future training. It concerns me that if we are all going to be doing the same thing the same way, that we have people running out and taking leadership from other people, like, don't tell people that you're a Lime Lifer. Don't post that on your Facebook. Don't hashtag blah, blah, blah. And Angie obviously said she didn't agree with some of the things. And we are free to choose, but I just know at the age of 63 and as a blue-red personality, this was one of the most painful things I've done as an adult. So there you go.
Thank you, Allison. That was so nice. Thank you so much for your transparency. There was so much of it too. I tried to pull away all of the good parts. And I've condensed all the 12.5 times 3 hours into 7 pages of notes. What I have right here could be condensed down to a day of training. It was a lot. And I would say over half of it was them telling us, now you need to go do the next best thing, which, oh, by the way, is $8,000 today, but tomorrow it's going to be $13,000. And then that made us all start to think, oh my gosh, do I need to do that? And am I going to be missing out if I don't do that? And that the amount of guilt that I took away from.
Oh God. And that
was like, I can't do it.
Please, please let that go. I did feel as though that I had been somewhat reprogrammed, or like it was just too intense. But the one thing that I do want to say is how important they talked about your story is, and leading with your story, right? Like always opening up with your story. That, you know, everybody's story who has trained under Eric, their dog died, their grandmother got run over by a reindeer, you know, life sucks, like my life was horrible. And then I went into MLM. And one of the things that I said, and that Gary agreed with, is that everyone's story doesn't have drama, right? And I know, you know, that we all vibe to a certain, and you will be calling in your people. So stick to your story, right? What works for you? And it'll attract the right people. And I think we all just have to stand in our truth. But like Angie, I would follow you anywhere knowing that you've got the instructions. Like I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, but Angie knows what's going on. So, whoo, girl, thank you for that.
It's called Fake It Till You Make It. No, but and truly, a huge takeaway is the story. And today when we met with Michelle on that thing, Jess, I don't know who organized that, guys, because I've been so out of the group loop of everything, but what we did with Michelle today was amazeballs. So much so that I added some of those notes into what I had tonight, just to kind of reiterate that. And she says the same things. And just like with the 3 words, that was phenomenal. And knowing that, you know, what are your 3 words that you're branding yourself with, and how those 3 words have to be you. Not, and I love Jess was the taco lover or the margarita drinker, wine lover, taco eater, whatever. I did cat, feline, something. But going back to that and listening to Michelle talk about that was awesome. And to give that insight. I have a huge story, and my goal is to be able to take that story and meld it all together. And not, and just like with Michelle, you know, what she said with it, you know, you're not wanting sympathy. And most of my people that know me know that I don't ask for any of that. But to do it in a very professional way, so that when I do share my story, it's authentic, it's me, and I don't sound salesy. And so coming up with that's my number 1 goal right now, is to really hone in on my story, because that's what's going to get you to your people, which is going to get you to your network, which is going to get you to your team, so on and so forth. It's hard for me to imagine myself being a senior director. It just really is. It's almost kind of laughable. But again, if you don't believe it, you won't achieve it. And so I have to believe it so that I can achieve it. It just starts with that. Will it maybe not happen? It might not. And that's fine. But you have to believe it to achieve it. And you have to do that. You have to write it down. You have to have your vision boards. You have to do all the things that we already do. And how many times tonight did I say, we already know this. We've heard this before. It's just coming from somebody else's mouth in 36 and plus hours of sitting. Yeah. Allison, we should talk, because I did like the experience. There were some phenomenal speakers, many of whom I already follow and listen to their podcasts. And yes, like she said, but I approached it as this weekend. I'm at a different level than some of the other people are in their companies. And some of these companies don't have the same stuff that we have at Lime Life. And that was really apparent this weekend. They don't have all of our things. So some of them were like, oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna do that and that and that. I'm like, done it. We're doing it now. We got the systems, you know, we know this. And so that was a little bit much. So I had to approach it that not everybody's at the same level as me. And some people are getting way more out of this. And that's how I approached it. And that's how I'm training tonight, from the perspective of there is some really good information in here. And you might not have known that you needed to be consistent in your business. You might not have known the 5x5x5 plan. and that you need to go find 5 interest groups. You know, it's just, you never know who is at their different points of their business, right? So there we go. I could go in and finish with Jessie Lee. I don't know if you guys want me to do that, but I mean, she is a firecracker. And if you did do the GoPro, would you agree with me, Allison, that Jessie's was basically what she did in the GoPro challenge? Or did you do the GoPro challenge?
I did not do the GoPro challenge.
So Jessie Lee, as you guys know, is a firecracker, and she is very good with Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So if you are familiar with any of she follows with the FIT, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Get out there, use those platforms, and get out there and put yourself out there. Do it messy. Don't sit there and think, oh, it's got to be perfect. I mean, I could do a TikTok right now. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to do a training, blah, blah. Do it messy. Guys, my most liked TikToks are the ones that just came out of freaking nowhere. My God, I have one that's got like 75,000 views, and all I did was turn it on. My very first TikTok, I'm like, I'm gonna see what I can do here. And first time I did it. It's insane, it's stupid. So basically she said a lot of the same things. I do not want me to go into this. Oh, let me just tell you this right here. And this, I think these numbers are extremely important. So your growth strategy on these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, on your growth. If you have under 10K followers, this girl, 80% of what you're putting out should be themed or shared content. All right? Themed or shared content. The other 20% should be your stuff. If you have 100K or more, 80% your stuff, 20% themed or shared. Okay. Another thing too that Pat got into a lot was your presentation and the actual presentation of the left, right pivot, how you organize your story, the first 60 seconds, the 30 seconds, and the 60 seconds at the end, getting it all together to tie in together. Don't go over that time. My story is a 45-minute long story. I share that story when I go around to all the high schools and middle schools and speak. I can't do a 45-minute story. So I have got to learn how to condense it down. So simple names. Don't use names like on Instagram, like dog lover, instead of like use your name. And then Michelle's advice was taking 3 words that represent your brand. I'm trying to work on mine right now. Oh, another thing too that is so intriguing, and one of the things that Michelle said that we should do is even when we're doing our presentation, do it for each other and just get some positive feedback from other people and things that you could work on. One of the things that we were trained on is how to actually, when you're doing the talking, and how to not use ly words. For every ly word that you said, remove the ly word and see what you're left with. It's going to take out time, and then you'll be more on time.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Who are you talking? Oh, my watch. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Girl, like, bless you for that. Bless you. Like, that is so much information. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting that all in one spot.
Yeah.
And we can access that. I can't even begin.
There are 2 sets of notes from
What?
This was my first set, and it ended at Jessie Lee. And then there's another set that has like Trent Shelton, David and Alex, Brian Carruthers, Pat Quinn. I love Pat Quinn. I love the whole presentation thing because that's what I need to improve on. And so
yeah,
there's another set.
I love it. Girlfriend, that is so good. Thank you so much. Give it up for Ange. You condensed all of that in a matter of 80 minutes. Like, that is impressive. I feel like wow, like I am, yeah, my mind is blown. I think that such valuable information, and you guys pick and choose. Again, take what applies, leave what doesn't. You're going to be at different seasons in your business. Sometimes you're focusing on Instagram. Sometimes you're focusing on your presentation. Sometimes you're focusing on, so don't try to implement everything all at once.
No.
Again, messy action. That is literally my motto.
You just take one thing and do it scared because you haven't done it before. You're going to see a difference. Take a system that you haven't done before that you're really, really scared about and do that and focus on that. And I promise you, you will see results.
Yes, ma'am, Pam. All right, family picture. You guys ready? Everyone get ready. We got a filter. We're going to do the thing. You already know the deal. Okay. You already know we're going to have a filter. All right. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Just read. I like how you debated a bunch of different things yet. All right. One more time. 1, 2, 3. I love it. You're like, what am I doing? What am I going to do? I want to do something fun. I love it. I guess I should just say just Flores now, not just read anymore. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off here and go make out with my husband. I will catch you guys later. Have the best night. Ange, you rock, sister friend. Thank you so much. Cat dress for life. Cat dress for life. Yeah.
Thanks.